University of Texas study found that men overwhelmingly preferred a 45-degree curve at the lower spine.
Hey, but I hear it though. He breaking it down to its core, but I hear it. And today we're reacting to why do black men like big butts? I feel like almost all men like a fat ass. You know, some men are more of a breast type of guy, but I think just in the black community, it's a common thing that we used to and we like. I'm a man, I love a fat ass. Damn, I'm gonna knock my damn headphone off. Speaking passionately about this shit. And if there's some type of science or something, I'm curious, let me know. Let's see what's going on. And after this video, make sure y'all go pull up to my other reaction channel. More Astral Dior over here. You're getting different types of content. It's going up. We're approaching 20K and we're to 50K on this channel, bro. Shout out to y'all. We almost there.
I like big butts and I cannot lie. You other brothers can't deny.
The elephant in the room is this. Why do black
It's a Caucasian man talking about this shit. This nigga was sitting up one day and saw how niggas was reacting to a fat ass and was like, I need to do some research.
men like big butts? And is that even true, or is it just another wrong racial stereotype? They're questions that have launched 1,000 rap lyrics and even a few scientific studies. Hey, I'm Ken LaCourte. Here, I try to give you a fair and balanced look at geopolitical issues, awkward questions around race and gender, our uncomfortable history, and of course, the female backside. So I dug in to try to figure it out. And what I found surprised me. It goes way deeper than pop culture or Instagram likes. We'll look into the evolutionary roots of why men find certain shapes attractive, the contrasting beauty standards between African and Europeans, and how they've changed over time, but persisted in African American.
I'm interested. I'm very interested.
Biases out of the way first.
This is a different type of video. We haven't really done a video like this before, so I'm pretty interested in what's about to happen. I hope y'all are as well.
For all my life, I've been a small butt guy. So I was fascinated at how millions of men came to the opposite conclusion. But first, let's make sure that question is fair. Do black men, in fact, love big butts more than others? And can I generalize about an entire race's preferences? Actually, yes, I can, especially when there's solid science backing it up. And on this, the science is clear. Black men love big butts, and it's not even debatable. Now, I know some of you are gonna think guys of all races like big butts, and that's true, but there's a spectrum of preferences within every group. And the data consistently shows that race plays a significant role in backside desires. Let's start with some data. A study by the University of Texas found that African American men are twice as likely to prefer a large rear compared to their white counterparts. But it's not just a black and white issue. The study also found that Latino men share this preference, but to a lesser degree than the African American.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Men. And dating site statistics back this up as well. When researchers analyzed the body type preferences selected by users on popular dating platforms, they found clear differences between racial groups. Again, African American men were far more likely to search for thicker, curvier body types compared to white men. And interestingly, it's not just about the size of the prize. It turns out that there's an ideal angle of the dangle. The University of Texas study found that men overwhelmingly preferred a 45-degree curve at the lower spine.
Hey, but I hear it though. He breaking it down to its core, but I hear it. Think about that 45-degree curvature in the spine when it poked like that. Let me change my battery. Y'all know what I'm saying, bro. Oh shit, I done knocked my camera everywhere. And then think about it like this, y'all. When you think about a Caucasian woman, you feel me? Typically, you can know they don't really got that curvature to the spine like that. They got longer torsos, and then if they got some ass, it just pop. But the African American woman typically, it seemed like, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm talking about?
This magic number held true across all races, but researchers noticed that the desired degree of curvature was most exaggerated among African American men. But wait, there's more. It's not just about the back, it's about the waist to hip ratio, to be precise. Right. Studies show that the preferred ratio differs significantly by race. African American men tend to prefer a more extreme contrast between a small waist and large hips, while white men generally prefer a more moderate difference. So why is this the case? How did these different beauty standards develop? Is it nature or nurture that's shaping these preferences? Specifically, why did African American beauty standards evolve to prefer curvier figures in the first place? Now, at its base level, there are biological and environmental factors at play. In historical Africa, a bigger body made a lot of evolutionary sense. The continent's harsh climate and inconsistent food supplies meant that some extra body fat could literally be the difference between life and death during lean times. It meant strength. It meant health. Larger bodies were also better equipped to handle the physical demands of manual labor and childbearing, essential for survival. In an environment where resources were scarce, curves became a visible marker of health, wealth, and fertility. Now here's where it gets less clear.
That's a concept that I feel like none of us really had to do too much pondering on. We kind of knew that.
Was it really men choosing fuller women over skinnier ones? Or is it that given the environment, those that thrived had those bodies? I mean, the things that we see are the things that we covet, and if that's what you saw, that's what you're going to love. Now, those traits aren't unique to Africa, of course. Throughout history and across many cultures, fullness has been linked to fertility and vitality. But in the context of African environments, these biological signals seem to take on an especially important role. As African societies developed, the evolutionary preferences became encoded into cultural beauty standards. Artwork from across the continent celebrated the fuller female form, from ancient rock art to traditional sculptures. When Europeans arrived with their own beauty standards, many African cultures actively resisted these impositions. Maintaining traditional aesthetics became a form of cultural preservation and identity in the face of oppression. Now, fast forward to today, and we can see how these deep-rooted preferences continue to shape beauty standards in the African American communities. Cultural artwork, from jazz album covers to hip-hop music videos, has consistently celebrated curvier body types. There's also been a strong community emphasis on resisting mainstream beauty standards that are often rooted in European ideals. For many, embracing fuller figures is a way of kind of honoring their cultural heritage and identity. So maybe the preference for larger body types among black men isn't just a superficial trend, but a result of thousands of years of evolutionary
Word. Okay. That makes sense. For sure. It's like, you kind of get, one that's marketed to us by our culture, you feel me? Like, that big ass, she was thick, da-da-da-da-da, and the music, even just with like how, especially how we live it now, I'm sure there was a time in America, which I know there was a time in America where it was slender. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all remember the time where it was really where what was shown to us on TV and all that was large breasts. The rest of the woman would just be skinny as hell. Now you got photos with a girl, everybody trying to be thick. A lot of women, not every woman. Sorry, I'm not trying to say that. A lot of women are trying to be thick on the internet. Let's say that. You feel me? And in real life, goddamn. We go to the gym. Well, what type of pants the gym girls got on these days? The ones that insinuate the rectum. You know what I'm saying? So this is that's just what it is.
Adaptions and cultural traditions. But what about white preferences? While African beauty standards remain relatively stable, European ideals took a wild ride. Back in the day, Europeans liked those big booties too. Renaissance paintings are full of voluptuous women, ample curves. Rubens, the 17th century Flemish painter, was
them not hitting though.
So famous for his full
those
figured
not
nudes
hitting
that we still use the term Rubenesque to describe them today. But then something happened. Europe industrialized. And with it came a seismic shift in beauty standards. The Industrial Revolution wasn't just about factories and steam engines. It also changed food production, making calories cheaper and more abundant than ever before. Suddenly, being plump wasn't a sign of wealth anymore. Anyone could do it. So the upper classes needed a new way to distinguish themselves. Enter the corset. Nothing says, I don't need to work for a living, like a waist that you can't breathe in. Thinness became a new status. The Victorian era doubled down on the trend. They associated thinness with moral purity and self-control. Bigger women? They were seen as lazy and lacking willpower. Talk about a 180-degree turn. Fast forward to the 20th century, and things get even more intense. The rise of mass media, magazines, movies, TV, started beaming these new ideals into every home. Fashion magazines pushed increasingly thin models. Hollywood starlets got skinnier. By the 1960s, we had Twiggy, literally named after a twig, as a top beauty icon. But here's the kicker. While European standards were changing, African beauty ideals stayed relatively stable. I mean, many African societies industrialized more slowly, some still haven't, so the pressures that shifted European ideals weren't as intense. But come back to America for a second. I mean, black Americans live in an industrialized society too. Why haven't their preferences changed?
Right.
And it's a good question. And it's because African American culture developed its own unique identity. During slavery, black Americans created a distinct counterculture. Rejecting white standards became a form of resistance. And strong oral traditions and tight-knit communities kept cultural preferences strong, even as the broader society changed around them. And at the same time, white America basically rejected them. Forced segregation created parallel societies with different values. It limited the influence of mainstream media and strengthened the internal community bonds. For blacks, the concept of America's melting pot happened a lot more slowly. Even as black Americans gained more access to mainstream culture, there was often a strong pushback against whitewashing beauty standards. The Black is Beautiful movement of the 1960s is a great example. Today, we're seeing some interesting convergences. Mainstream beauty standards are becoming more inclusive of curvier figures. Now, is this a genuine appreciation? Or is it marketing exploitation? Or is that all intermixed? I don't know. So the next time you see a Renaissance painting or a modern fashion magazine, remember, beauty standards aren't set in stone. They're as changeable as the societies that create them. Hey, just a reminder that if I mess up any facts here, as always, I'll address it in a pinned comment below. But when you think about it, even this video is coming at things from a European standpoint. I mean, from an African point of view, the question isn't what I posed, but instead, why do white guys like small butts? And that hits at something deeper. For centuries, Europeans...
For my Caucasians out there watching this video, y'all welcome. You know I'll be saying a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? But y'all welcome, my nigga. Michael. Y'all welcome. I'll take that nigga back. Y'all like little booties, though? And I feel like, obviously, that's not to say all black people like fat asses and shit. Niggas like what they like. Some niggas like petite shit. Some niggas like, some thick shit. Like, that's fine. That's cool. This is not a video to say one's wrong, another's right. For my ladies that watch these videos, this is not to say one is wrong, one is right. Hopefully y'all got to this because I know this is towards the end of the video. You feel me? You living how you living. You look how you want to look. And there's going to be a nigga that's going to want to get on that. You feel me? So... It is just key. It does make me curious. I saw the video. My dog Berto reacted to it. I was like, let me bring this to y'all and let's watch it together and figure out what this is. But I am curious, like, do a white man see a fat ass and be like, yeah,
Standards dominated global beauty. They owned the magazines. They controlled the fashion houses. They ran
or do a majority of them.
They
I
got
know
to tell everyone else what beautiful meant. But nature's a stubborn thing. Those African preferences that developed over thousands of years weren't just random choices. They were rooted in biology. But recently, something's changed. Now, maybe it was the internet democratizing beauty standards. Maybe it was the rise of hip-hop culture. But what's really going on is more interesting than just preferences. We're watching centuries of parallel beauty standards finally collide.
Yeah.
Now, some say it's cultural appropriation. Others call it progress. But here's what they're missing. African American beauty standards didn't just survive. In some ways, they're winning the cultural war. Kim Kardashian helped build an empire by copying black beauty ideals. So it's certainly possible that Sir Mix-a-Lot was a philosopher ahead of his time. I find that interesting, but not interesting enough to change the team I'm on. So look, this video about body preferences is pretty lighthearted. But in recent years, we've seen the body positivity movement turn into something that's deadly toxic. Our media and our society went from trying to be nice to overweight people to something that celebrated and encouraged radically dangerous lifestyles. It's like some people lost their minds. I dug into the ugly underside of that and saw that it was driven by politics and profit. Hey, thanks for watching.
Wow. I rock with this old Caucasian man. I rock with you, dawg. You speaking some real shit. And I feel like you got a good head on your shoulders, man. That being said, like the video, sub up, comment the best recipe to our channel, man. I love you. I appreciate your grief, y'all. And make sure y'all go to the description and watch the rest of the channels, tap in and all that. And this is that and the third. There's a whole lot of content that I'm doing, and y'all need to be a part of that. That being said, man, we gonna do it.